Have you ever trusted someone with everything only to discover they ruined it? So how can you even begin to digest that? That was me. I felt we were solid, that she was my person, but then I discovered she cheated. And the craziest part? She wanted me to simply forgive her as if nothing had happened. But first, make sure to subscribe. We're very close to 200 subscribers, and your one tap can make it possible. Let's get started. I, 29, met my girlfriend Kim, 24, in July 2021. She worked at an upscale restaurant that I frequented. I tried asking her out multiple times before she finally said yes. After 3 months, she asked if we could become exclusive, and by March 2022, we had moved in together. Before she moved in, I introduced her to my mother. Kim was nervous, but not as much as I was, because my mother can be frightening and overwhelming. But Kim enchanted my mother and won her over. My mother explained that it was mainly due to the way she treated and looked at me. After living together for a while, my mother asked us about our intentions, precisely our objectives. Kim was a sophomore in 2020, but COVID forced her to leave and lose her scholarship. She desperately wanted to acquire her degree to pursue a meaningful career. Still, it was always out of reach financially. Later that day, my mother contacted us and offered to pay Kim's tuition. So Kim started in the fall of 2023 at my Alma University, about a 35-minute commute from my home. I got to see my old haunts and show Kim around school. The first semester was excellent. In the second semester, red flags began to emerge. Kim was no longer comfortable with me being around some of her friends. She stated that 6 or 7 years older than her pals made them uneasy. She also had a study group that met on Wednesday nights and an early class on Thursday morning. She started spending Wednesday nights with one of her buddies to get extra sleep before class. She wanted to go to Cancun for spring break, but I offered to arrange our tickets. She preferred to travel alone with her girlfriends. Some of her companions were invited to a frat party at my former fraternity house. I insisted on accompanying her, knowing what those gatherings were like, and we fought until I naively gave in. It was late when she returned home from the frat party, so she went straight to bed. The following day, she went into the shower, and I sneaked in before she realized it. This was not an unusual event. Then I noticed the marks on her hips and buttocks, which she claimed were from playing volleyball intoxicated. I know better. I had left bruises like that on her, but the one she fought so hard to hide was a bite mark and a hickey on her chest. I would not listen to her falsehoods and told her to leave. After she was gone, I contacted one of my fraternity members. I knew his younger brother lived in that fraternity and would almost certainly be at the party. I spoke with his younger brother and detailed my predicament, including my fiancée and the purple flower tattoo on her hip. He was forthcoming, sending me a few photos and a video. He insisted she hadn't been slipped anything and wasn't that inebriated. She came over the next day to discuss and collect her belongings. She tried to convince me that it wasn't as horrible as I feared, that nothing terrible had happened, and that she just wanted to go on. The color left her face when I asked her if she had ever witnessed a BJ contest where girlfriends raced to bring their boyfriends across the finish line first. I then played the video for her. One of the first things I learned as a pledge was that there are 2 categories of co-eds, those you date and those who attend frat parties. And we know which one you are. I said I did not want to talk to or be around you until all those marks vanished. The notion that I may still have affection for you disgusts me. I demanded she return the keys to my house and my credit card, which she had used to pay for petrol, books, and other expenses. She does have a debit card on her account, which I funded, so she has money to spend. She has been love-bombing me for days, promising to change, no more overnight stays at college, no more parties or events without me, and returning home directly after classes. She claimed she was silly for listening to her buddies. Other people persuaded her to disrespect me. Only a few of my friends know what happened, and I haven't told many people about it out of embarrassment. I'm angry at myself for ever considering giving her another chance. I finally got to speak to my mother. Without going into detail, I told her that I had proof that Kim was cheating on me and that I had ended my relationship with her. She was furious and stated, "We will deal with that when I get home." She asked whether I was all right and advised me to contact her lawyer if I needed anything. I told her where I had left things with Kim, and she offered to cut her trip short and go home. I assured her she didn't need to return since I controlled everything. I then received a call from my older sister. She was in her car and driving toward my house. We spoke on the phone for nearly 2 hours of travel to my place. When she arrived at my place, she made me gather and package the rest of Kim's belongings before calling her to come receive them. Kim was upset to find my sister there, as she assumed I would be alone and she could soften me up and explain her case. I informed her she had until the 1st of the month to work out auto and health insurance, and I didn't want to hear from her again after today. Kim asked for a cooling-off period and counseling before we tossed away the last 3 years. My sister was a mean girl bully at school, but I'd never heard her say some of the terms she used to viciously attack Kim. At one point, I almost felt sorry for Kim because of all the abuse she was receiving. Almost. We finally loaded the last of Kim's belongings into her car. If Kim shows up and falsely accuses me of something, my sister stays with me for a few days. Second story. I, a 34-year-old male, recently went through something that has left me wondering everything, and I genuinely need some outside viewpoints. My wife, a 32-year-old woman, and I had a heated dispute 6 months ago. It wasn't anything unusual. It was simply the typical stress of work and life building up. That night I tried contacting her several times, but she never answered. I ended up falling asleep on the couch, scared, sick, and envisioning all kinds of things. The following day, she arrived home with tears flowing down her cheeks. She sat me down and admitted that she had slept with my best friend. She didn't hold back when I asked her questions and was brutally honest. She told me he was fine and that she felt touched and like a lady again. I had read that people would gradually reveal the truth, but she spewed everything. She said she regretted it, not because it was terrible, but because she wasn't with me, and she despised the person she became then. I was distraught and promptly filed for divorce. She broke down, imploring me not to end things and promising to do whatever needed to make things right. In my amazement and disorientation, I succumbed to her seduction. To this day, I can't believe I did it, especially since she returned from him. From then on, she did everything I asked and more. She installed a GPS in her car, downloaded Life 360, kept a voice recorder in her purse, and video called me every hour of the day. She granted me complete access to her phone. Every time my ex-best buddy or any other guy tried to contact her, she blocked them without hesitation after screenshotting and providing me with the person's name. She was doing everything correctly in couples counseling. She would even correct the counselor if they moved blame onto me, making it evident that it was entirely her fault. I later discovered that she had also cheated on her husband. She pledged she would never succumb to temptation again. She continued assuring me that I was better in bed now, better than my ex-best friend, but instead of making me happy, it made me miserable. I despised myself, so I began working out and getting in shape, which only made her want more sex. I tried to enjoy it, believing that it would make things better. We sought to move forward. She showered me affectionately, prepared my favorite foods, scheduled surprise dates, and left me little love notes all around the home. Our friends and family felt we were the ideal pair, having conquered adversity and emerged stronger. She and my parents encouraged me to stay, claiming it was simply a one-time drunken mistake, but I couldn't shake the sense of betrayal. Whenever she kissed me, I worried if she was thinking about him. Each time we made love, I wondered if she was comparing us. She was. 6 months had passed, and she asked if she might join her friends at a party last night. She had been perfect, video calling me every 30 minutes to let me know she was with her pals. Despite the lack of evidence, I couldn't shake the suspicion that she was still cheating. The final time, when she was video calling to demonstrate she was getting into the car, I requested her divorce. She ran home, wondering why. I told her I was grateful for her development, but sensed she wasn't genuinely sorry. She just didn't want to lose me. I wasn't sure if that was true, but I believed that. So, here I am. Do I feel like a monster for wanting to end it after she's worked so hard to heal things? She's been nothing but dedicated and earnest in her efforts to make amends, but I still can't get over the image of her with my closest buddy. The sorrow of her betrayal breaks me apart every time I close my eyes and envision them together. All I think about is him and her. We were meant to spend our time together exclusively, but she destroyed that. I never processed anything and simply gave in, not even 24 hours later. I only regret that it took me 6 months to reach this decision. I'm feeling so lost and conflicted. I don't know if I'm punishing her or attempting to save myself. This may all pass and I can relax, but seeing him the other day messed me up. I loathe my existence. My best friend was supposed to have my back, not go behind it and destroy something so important. I kept asking myself why I would even consider returning to someone who had done that to me, especially someone I trusted so much. It's not only about the affair, it's about how my wife and best friend showed me that my feelings, trust, and relationship weren't important to them then. That's all for today's video. I hope you found this story enlightening and relatable. If you appreciated the content, please give this video a thumbs up and share your ideas or experiences in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.